managed to miss a really busy summer. Although I missed half of it as well. Even David Cameron left in disgust when he heard you'd gone. So, 35 years, 10 months and 19 days, and he looks about 25. So, I don't know how that happened. Man and boy at the BBC, beginning as a clerk in news film control, aged 19. For the next 15 years, you worked in editing. And I hear you cut quite a dash there, Adrian. I think you had you were a sort of new broom, and there was certainly cheered up one former, slightly larger than life correspondent who was going to remain nameless, but hey, it's Wesley Kerr. Who, when he saw Adrian, apparently declared that editing was certainly looking up. So.
It was Nick, yeah, it was Nick.
Then the move into management and subsequently joining Newsgathering, overseeing foreign crewing, major contracts and of course all our union negotiations. Sparing his blushes because he is one of the most modest men I've ever met, and there aren't many. So many people have said he's absolutely been one of the best managers they've ever had. Calm, common sense, that direct Yorkshire, no-nonsense approach being really, really useful at times, but then ever the diplomat as well. Adrian and I bonded over, not just the work, slightly periphery really. The real thing that bonded us was the cycling chats and the gin chats and the trips to the tea point. We really found out since you've gone, you've been a bit of a dark horse really. I didn't realise you had that dark side, or shall we say blue side. Until all will be revealed in a film that's been put together by Tony Dolce, who can't be here because we're working him too hard, and a little help from Steve Adrain. So run Vinci.
Last stop on round would be old Ma Peggoty's place. 'Twas like taking bread to the top of the world.
Greatest to be with you.
This is the martini time of day.
Hello Adrian, I'm sorry I can't make the barbecue, but as you can see I've got somewhere better to be. And if there's one place that Hollywood's good for, it's for reimagining things. It's 30 years ago since you and I first started working with each other, so I've got Hollywood to reinvent the thin gruel of memories from that time ago. When I first joined the BBC, you were already a chief picture editor, or as they were referred to then, the Martini Boys. Anytime, any place, anywhere was the work ethic, but we also suspected that any time referred to your love of double time and treble time. Any place was as long as you turned left entering the plane, and anywhere was any hotel that offered you a suite rather than a room. You dispensed many pearls of wisdom, including how to do your expenses and obviously maximise them, but you also told me what were the 3 things that one would be sacked from the BBC on the spot for: not having a TV licence, hitting someone, and sex on the premises. Well, I always thought of you as a law-abiding citizen, so I take it that you had a TV licence. As far as I know, you didn't have sex on the premises, though I'm told that the Newsround Edit Suite was available on occasion. But as to hitting someone, you didn't so much as hit them as, well, stab them. Cast your mind back to when you were a chief picture editor on Newsnight. The premium of having a fast editor in the days of U-matic and SP was something to behold. Edit controllers were not just simple keyboards and mice, they were things that you stabbed at. You had shuttle knobs, you had flick switches, and the cutting edge technology of an LED counter. But they were something that people liked to grab hold of. And unfortunately, this included producers. You were in the middle of an edit with a gentleman called Charles, or as we refer to him, Lord Charles.
I say, passing tractor driver, do you speak English?
As the day went on, Charles was irresistibly drawn to leaning across and interfering with the edit, grabbing the shuttle knob. You warned him once that if he did it again, he'd be stabbed. You warned him twice that if he did it again, he'd be stabbed. And on the 3rd occasion, sure enough, you stabbed him on the back of the hand. Charles, I'm reliably informed, never ever interfered with another edit in the whole time that he remained on Newsnight. Charles probably went on to do Naked Jungle with Keith Chegwin and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. You, on the other hand, showed your strength and your force to go on and be a manager. Adrian, I'm sorry I can't be there to toast you again, but as my assistant will now just provide for me in true BBC budget style, a martini glass with nothing in it, which is about the budget that we have for this film. Adrian, it's been great fun working with you. Enjoy your retirement.
Hi Adrian, I hear you're retiring or at least being made redundant, so I hope Auntie's giving you a nice big golden handshake. You've come a long way since the days in picture editing control when we used to jump the counter where the films came in and you scuffed your shin and there was blood and skin all over the place and we had to sort of keep it quiet for a while, but now it's out, but I'm sure it won't matter to you now. Now you're on your bike. As Deputy Head of Operations, you outlasted both Nick Orme and Julia Nelson, your contemporaries at that time in Television Centre. So you've had a really good career. I remember when you were thinking about management and I found this picture of you rehearsing and practising in the theatre, just in case you got the job. Well, a lot of your friends have gone, unfortunately. Pete Molest is sadly no longer with us, but we used to have fun at his house down in Croydon, meet up with Harding, Nick Orme, a few other people, and we used to go out and down to see the Jaguars at Biggin Hill with Norman Lowes. There was a lot of social time then. I'm sending this little tribute to you on the phone, the new technology, it seems to be used all the time. So, you know, just fritter your money away and really enjoy it. Good luck, mate. Bye for now.
Well, Adrian, I made the mistake of getting a famous filmmaker to do this, and it's not going very well at the moment. So, what I would like to say is commiserations to Maureen, because the idea that she's going to run this place without you that's not something I would have liked to have had to do. And actually I really would like to say thank you for the number of times that you stopped me making a complete cock-up of various idiotic ideas that I wanted to do. So thank you and all the very best, and I hope that you're living the dream as I seem to be doing. Cheers.
Hi Adrian, what I'm going to miss about you is your ability to give me money. I had 2 line managers, and if I didn't get money off one, I'd come to you as the other line manager, and I always got it. Unfortunately, now you've gone, it's going to be a hell of a lot more difficult. Take care, have fun.
Adrian, I'm so sorry I can't be with you tonight, but no doubt you've got the relaxed demeanour of a man who's left the BBC and is relishing new challenges. I'm looking forward for the email from LinkedIn telling me that you're the new MD of Adrian Camm Creative Workplace Solutions. Of course, you won't have any employees coming to you with complaints. You won't have managers knocking down your door asking for advice about tricky problems. And you won't have the unions coming to you with outrageously sensible measures to improve the workplace for everyone. Thank you for all your help and support over the years. I'm going to take on board all the good advice you've given me, and I hope that we'll get together and I'll be able to see you soon. All the best.
Adrian, I hope you have a very long and happy retirement. And I remember, it seems only like yesterday, you came to London to help run the Young Conservatives. You were 17 and really very small, and I made a promise to you when we went to a conference that I didn't keep, and I want to apologise for that. We both went into Marks and Spencer's to buy jeans. You found that you were so slim you could buy the children's jeans and not pay VAT, and I told the whole conference, and oh God, now I've told the whole of the BBC. Adrian, have a great time. I wish I could be at the party, but I hope you'll have a wonderful retirement.
Greetings, Adrian. Greetings from a fellow Yorkshireman. You know, it's true, no matter how far you travel away from your native county, you can always tell a Yorkshireman. But you can't always tell him very much. It doesn't seem so long ago that you were a fanatical young conservative, going round, well, a kind of genteel momentum, the kind of young person that's causing so much problems to that nice Mr. Owen Smith. Given that you've now become quite elderly and are about to leave the BBC, could I wish you every success and look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future.
This is the martini time of day.
Adrian was small, dark, quiet, very careful, somewhat cautious about some things, but always cost effective, weren't you? That always seems to come into it somewhere. You're always good with the money. We spent quite a lot of time whiling away evenings in pubs, and Adrian always, if there was a one-armed bandit, you know, fruit machine anywhere, in those days they used to take 2 bob bits, and he'd always keep his eye on them. And every so often he would rush over to a machine and he'd pump in about, I think he limited himself to about £1 worth of coins. And invariably he'd come up with one of these mini jackpots that they give out to keep people interested. And he would work this out very cleverly. Do you still do it? No. You don't? No. On the A course that we did, the real thing, it was 3 months, I think, he was excellent. On the A course, they do actually, it was a studio production course, really, whereby they expect you to learn everything in the studio and everything else that's going on around you. And then they assess you, not only for your skill in working the gear, but also as a man manager. Adrian came out with flying colours. He was our studio director when we did our Wham lookalike video at the end, didn't we? And he was recommended for management in the future, which I'm sure stood him in great esteem when his turn came to be selected as a potential manager. After we got back into London and were doing our jobs, they took on a lot more young trainee editors who were all highly qualified, people like Nick Orme and the like, who are all no longer with us, are they? They all sort of fizzled out. They didn't stay the test of time. But Adrian has. It's quite remarkable. That really is. While we were travelling up and down to Evesham, Adrian used to tell me about his younger days. And as you know, he was from near Bradford, lived with his mum and his older brother. And for those of you who've put in a really creative expenses and overtime sheet, you will have realised that Adrian is pretty canny. And you know, it all starts somewhere. And his first job when he was at school, those of you who have seen Ronnie Barker in Open All Hours and thought this was a bit of southern cynicism about northern shop life, well, I tell you that Adrian's first job was working in a pet shop, wasn't it, Adrian? And one of his jobs was to rub the green mould off of Bonio biscuits and make them fit for sale. Now this has stood him in good stead.
Waste not one.
Waste not one. Yes.
Yeah, we don't have any Bonio biscuits anymore.
No. Shall I wrap it up?
That's great, thank you, Joe.
Is that enough?
That's fine. That gives us a fine insight into what life was like. Thank you very much.
You don't want to hear about your friends? No.
I'll take the microphone now. Thank you very much. Anybody that's not had time to sign that's come from afar, please do still sign. We'll leave it there.
I always think these are like a mystery.
Yeah, well they're not. That is something to help you find new adventures, but hopefully find your way home. And that's something to Sarah put, and that's something Milena can get a hands on and play with. So you can open what you like. And to say, something to remember is by thank you for everything. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much.
It's interesting that Lord Charles was mentioned, because he was on one of my leaving courses when I left the BBC, and he was still a complete prat. And of course, I've still got the scar from jumping up in film control. I've got a chunk out of my leg that I lost doing that, so there we go. So a really big thanks that I've been able to sort of hijack the summer barbecue and combine it sort of with a bit of a leaving farewell. And I guess that as a grocer's daughter, you appreciate this is like a bog off offer, isn't it? You know, it's sort of buy one, get one free. And as someone's alluded to, by strange coincidence, I started my working life in London working for a grocer's daughter, or at least working for a grocer's daughter's party. And I can't help but notice there are similarities. You know, it's complimentary. You know, I started film control, where the stuff would come in from overseas in onion bags and be processed, and we moved from that to iPhones and to memory cards. I mean, it's an amazing change, and it's not just technology that's changed. And I'm glad to see that Barry is here tonight, because I remember the good old days when I started in 1980. You know, the cameramen used to wear suits, used to wear ties, always be immaculately turned out. Well, most of them actually. You know, we talked about a couple of exceptions, and there's definitely a case that sort of sartorially standards have slipped. I feel a bit hypocritical saying that, because I managed to get through most of my BBC career wearing jeans. So, but they've definitely slipped, and I hope that's something maybe you can address in the future. I think the other thing that's changed, although perhaps not quite so much in location, is it used to be an incredibly male-dominated environment. In certainly all the craft areas, maybe a bit less so in the newsroom. I mean, so much so that there's one manager who I won't embarrass by naming him, but when I took a particular job, one manager did tell me no good ever came of employing women. Now, you know, I can't possibly comment on that. There we go. I think the other really noticeable change is it's become a much drier environment, and by that I'm not referring to global warming. You know, we look at the consumption of alcohol, and it was certainly the case in editing in my early days in location that there were an awful lot of liquid lunches, which, funnily enough, I'm glad Sally's here, because I hold Sally responsible for quite a few of the liquid lunches we used to have. And jolly good they were too, but there were a couple where I do remember sort of almost crawling back from the Fox restaurant. And at the time, Julia Nelson was running editing, and she was definitely less impressed with me, and I'd sort of slink into the room and go to sleep, more or less. You know, so things have changed, and not necessarily for the best, really. Obviously, the location was completely different in terms of drinking. It never really happened. And I remember when I moved to the location in the mid-90s, I was really in awe of cruise engineers. I mean, they were like gods, you know, these sort of tough, go anywhere, never complain sort of characters, you know, stiff upper lip and all that. Anyway, I soon came to realise after sort of managing that frankly, camera crews, probably more camera crews than engineers actually, camera crews definitely know how to complain. And I'll never forget one staff meeting where there's one particular camera crew who used to complain an awful lot, and I'm not going to mention him by name, not just yet anyway. And in the old days, the staff meetings now are quite tame affairs. I still remember, Barry, you might remember, that actually in the old days, some of the staff meetings were quite lively. It was this manager, it was like, you know, Daniel going to the Lion's Den. And this particular camera crew was quite fond of complaining about almost everything. I think his comment was, he told me, you know what, I've never found you helpful. And my immediate response to that was, I'll take that as a compliment, then I'm obviously doing my job right, you know. And we got a fine after that. The other thing in terms of camera crews was the hard man image sort of disappeared. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks after I started as an ops manager in location. Late one evening, I got a phone call from a particular crew, and I think they were hunkered down in some hellhole somewhere, and clearly the only company they had was a bottle of whiskey, or probably by that stage an empty bottle of whiskey. And the conversation sort of went along the lines of, when's the next person coming out to relieve me? Probably not quite like those actually, but and then the next question was, because when they come, I want lots of soft toilet paper. And that's sort of, that said it all about the cruise, really. Not quite the Hardman image. I won't go on, but what I really want to say is it's been sort of an immense privilege, really, to work at the BBC, and especially in news. I mean, I've got stacks and stacks of great memories. The places to visit, the sort of events that I've covered. I mean, fantastic reporters I've worked with. Mad Bill Hamilton, who was with his referee's wisdom in the cutting room. Mike Sullivan, who wouldn't have the producer in the room or made him stand outside in the rain. I mean, I love Mike Sullivan. But the abiding memories of people you work with, and there's a tremendous level of pride, I think, in working for the BBC and a dedication to getting the job done. And I know we all complain, we all whinge about things, but there really is. And I think especially in news gathering, there's a real desire to get the job done, and that's made working for the last 36 years, or certainly the last 20 odd years in news gathering, it's made an absolute pleasure. So I just say a big thank you to everybody, really. All those people that have worked through the years, have been friends of me, who supported me. A really big thank you. It's been fantastic fun, and I wish you all the best in the future. And I'll sit there watching 6 o'clock news, my gin and tonic, thinking about that. Thank you.